A lot of you guys are doing Facebook ads, especially since motherfuckers have course on how to be ads buyers, and a lot of you motherfuckers suck. Seriously, a lot of you motherfuckers really suck. Because I used to do my own. I used to run my own ads for years. Every time I tried to hire somebody, it was like, oh, these motherfuckers suck. Like, I'm better than them, right? You're the first person who's like better than me, and I trust you. You know what I'm saying? Like, but significantly better than me, right?
That's how it should be.
Yeah, but it's like it's either you suck or you're fucking dope, right? So you guys got to get focused on getting so good that you can get a percentage of the revenue, and that's how he really started lapping me in income when we went with that model. Because before that, when we first met, you was just doing it.
When I very first met you, the way I was doing it was pretty retarded in my opinion. Like, I didn't like doing it that way at all. But
how were you doing it, just so they know?
Yeah, so long story short, I had 27 staff when we had met. I had 3 offices. I had 2 in Beverly Hills, 1 in Miami, and I'm flying back and forth every fucking week. I had like dozens and dozens of clients. We're selling all these different digital marketing skills, from advertising to building courses to graphic design to video editing to websites to marketing automation, like copywriting, like all kinds of crazy shit. We were just taking like piecemeal projects. Well, not all of it was transactional, to be fair. A majority of it was recurring, but none of it had any kind of percentage of the upside. Yeah. And to be fair, I mean, I started when I was retarded myself. Like, I was like 21, 20 years old when I first got into all this. My brain's not even fully developed at that point in my life. You know what I mean? So moral of the story is, I didn't really know better, simply put. I didn't know to try to make more money by getting percentages of revenue. I was charging flat fees and thinking that was the best way to make a lot of money. This was the biggest thing. I started starting to ask myself, okay, I want to make $1 million a month. And I didn't even necessarily have like a reason to be honest. I didn't have like a purpose for it or like what I was going to do with it. I just kind of started thinking bigger. I started challenging myself. Like, I want to hit $1 million a month. Like, what the fuck do I need to do? And when I looked at my model the way that it was, it just didn't make any sense. Like, if I kept scaling, I was doing around like 200-300K a month. Some months I'd hit 4 at that time. But like, dude, it was a hellscape. Like it felt like shit. It was a high stress life. It was I don't know, it was just awful. There wasn't a lot of upside in like quality of life that I was getting as I made more money. Quite the opposite. I was actually losing quality of life and getting more stressed as I made more money.
A lot of times people, when they scale their businesses, they fuck around and build businesses that they hate.
Yeah, no, it fucking sucks. So I get to the point, dude, where I'm like having to like sit down and like vacuum inhale food because like I have like infinite shit to do. I woke up every day and like my fucking to-do list, like not like little petty to-do list shit, like pretty significant shit I needed to do that just like compound by the day. I don't know, it just felt like really overwhelming. It didn't really hit me, to be honest, until I started thinking of the $1 million a month. When I started thinking with that, for some reason it put everything into perspective. It was like, man, you're just doing this wrong, you really got to reset here. There was not a comfortable or like obvious way to reset it. I kind of sat there and like would do the math on maybe like a month or two, just thinking of this. How would I do it if I could do it? What if I had to do it over again? What would I transition to here? And I started thinking this kind of ridiculous thought. Okay, I started thinking, what if I could get 10 people to pay me $100,000 a month?
Yeah, there we go.
And as ridiculous as that might sound, I thought of it honestly as very realistic.
Okay, so real quick, what's important, what a good lesson for y'all is, first he asked himself a better question. He had a vision. He knew what he wanted. He said, okay, $1 million a month. Then he started looking for ways to do that. Where some of y'all, you know what I'm saying, you might not even set your ambitions that high, and then you won't start asking how you can do it. You'll just say, yo, I can't do that. Oh, nobody can do that. Nobody's gonna pay that much, right? But instead of saying nobody's gonna pay me a fucking $100,000 a month, he said, how can I get people to pay me $100,000 a month? Right? That's a mindset shit. That's a real shit.
I was very convicted on the idea that this was possible. And keep in mind, in addition to everything you said, I was in a growing amount of pain. Okay, like I was essentially fed up with my circumstances and knew I needed change. Okay, and remember, I personally think you can get to these bigger numbers from 2 perspectives. Number one, literally just starting to think with it, like could I hit $1 million a month, and like starting to do the math and like considering the models to accomplish it. The other way I think you could accomplish it is reasons. Okay, and like for me, this was kind of a combination. So like my reasons were not like I want to go buy a bunch of bullshit or like I'm going to do this or invest this much. Genuinely, I just wanted to get out of the pain of how I was doing things. And I knew as well, just from like the people I was around, the environments I was in, like I knew I needed more money, but I didn't necessarily know what I would do with the money yet, to be clear. So regardless of whether you think what you're going to do with a fuckload of money, it's very important to understand, like, you need a fuckload more money. I knew that. I knew that for sure.
We're going to talk about that later, like why they need more money.
Yeah, hell yeah. So I come into the office one day, and have you ever seen the Big Short? Yeah. You remember the part where the guy with like the crazy eyes, Michael Berry, he wrote that email to his investors. Yeah. And then he just fired it off and like kicked back and like put music on and was chilling. And he essentially said like, I'm making this bet, like you guys can fuck off. I kind of did the opposite. I hit everybody up, like all these clients, and I refunded them. and I was like, hey, like, you're fired, and here's all the stuff that we've done for you. Like, we're just not doing it this way anymore. And I had 27 staff. I go fire 23 of them. I hit up my landlords for the offices, and I was like, hey, I'm getting rid of all my offices.
What year was this?
End of 2017.
How much money were you making at the time? Just
Anywhere from like 200 to 300K a month, like big months being like 400.
That was what the business was. I mean, that would not take home.
Yeah, correct. I was split living, you know. I had apartments on both coasts. It wasn't anything crazy, you know. They're just like 1-bedroom apartments. I wasn't driving any cars at the time. Like, I wasn't like spending money on anything ridiculous. I was accumulating cash, but I mean, at the same time, like, I was burning a lot of cash. Yeah. So long story short, I get to the point where I just fire everybody. I fire a majority of the clients. Dude, it kind of felt like amazing. That's how, honestly, I knew. I was like, this is the right choice for sure.
Yeah.
Like, it felt liberating. It felt really good. And same thing with the staff. I deeply appreciate and understand the responsibility that we have as leaders. And we're financially responsible for the people that we hire.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like, I didn't completely fuck everybody, you know? Like, I made sure that people had, like, small severances. And, like, you know, I gave them notice and things like this. And, like, I kept them on
did
for
it the right way.
Weeks. And, like, you know, I didn't just, like, up and fucking
like,
fire
you could get the fuck out of here. No
exactly.
more money.
I didn't do anything. Even though for sure it was, like, an emotionally fucked situation for me, I didn't, like, make, like, an emotionally rash decision or anything. But anyway, to be clear, this felt like so liberating, you know? It started this like transition for me, to be clear, which was, okay, I've already made businesses a lot of money. Like, I've already had clients that we've made a couple $1 million a month for, like $1 million a month. Like,
so you knew you were good at what you. That's the one
100%.
thing. He got good at what he did. Remember that. Like, you just nothing's gonna work if you suck at what you do.
There was nobody like me, like on something like this, literally just saying, I got a fucking 100K a month. You know, I'll literally show you an example right now. Like, I had one of my students the other day. He's in my inner circle, and his name's also Jeremy. So this is one of my students, Jeremy. From me sitting here talking about this all the time. Look at this. He made $132,000 in a month from one client.
One client.
Okay. Now, although yes, just to be clear from like a disclaimer perspective, highly irregular, but to be fair,
I just gotta log in.
possible. Okay,
Yeah.
possible. That kind of guy, like sitting there doing that kind of level of result, just to help you understand, like it comes from this like belief and somebody else already showing that it's possible. I didn't have any of that. There was not a single fucking person out there saying, "Hey, I'm a marketing agency getting paid $100,000 a month off a client." Like, there was none of that shit.
I only knew one other guy who was doing that. It was my mentor, Kevin Hodo. There was one point, probably around this time, I thought he was the best marketer in the world. Like, yeah, he was running Gym Launches ads, you know, Taxi Moore, a bunch of fucking big name dogs.
Heavyweight.
And he died of COVID, right? So now,
Tough.
like Highlander, there can only be one. Now it's you, man. You know what I'm saying?
The rebirth, you know? So look, moral of the story, okay, you don't know what you don't know. And I didn't fucking know shit about people out there getting paid like substantial sums of money is the moral of the story. But I did know I was getting big results for the people that we were working with and like really putting some intentional effort behind. Okay, I thought with two things. It felt fair, and it felt like from an incentive perspective, I could get more out of myself. As an incentive, what I mean is like, really think about this, okay? Let's say you pay somebody just a flat fee to run something as important as your advertising for your business. What are they incentivized to do? They're incentivized really just to make back the money that you've spent on advertising and their fee, so you can comfortably justify paying them the money again next month. Because if they got a flat rate,
they just got to make enough for you keep paying.
It's like a look. I made you enough for you to pay me again this upcoming month. This is the only other incentive there is, well, if I do really well on your account, it could get me other accounts.
Yeah.
And that in itself, from a business's perspective, is also a terrible incentive to align for your advertiser. Because then they're kind of like pump and dumping you, where like they're only going to get you a big result so they can get a bigger deal that they get more fucking money on. Okay, once again, two things, fairness and incentive. I thought to myself, I was like, this feels really fair that I should get more money in comparison to what I'm getting now as a flat fee. And then two, I thought from an incentive perspective, man, dude, if I had a fucking percentage of upside on these people's businesses, I think I'd give way more of a fuck than I do now. I felt like I'd be fucking unleashing a whole nother monster. I felt like I'd really reach like a new level of potential from doing it this way.
Yeah.
And dude, that's when I fully committed, was when I sold myself on essentially the ethics of the new model.
It was actually the best deal for the client.
I don't think this is false conviction, to be clear. I think this is genuine, okay? I just looked at every deal we do, and I looked at it and I said, every deal where I've really made a lot of money has just come from an incentive of like, okay, I can go flex that deal and get more result. If I had an incentive where you're going to pay me a lot of money based on the amount of money I make you, I'm probable to make you even more money. Because then I have like a direct financial incentive from doing this.
There's no upfront fee when you...
No, I do charge upfront fee.
Okay.
I do. So to be clear, here's what I learned. And this is very important to understand, okay? You got to be honest with yourself. I did try to be fair, doing a deal or two where I just only charge a rev share.
Okay.
The issue is like, it takes a little bit for them to actually be able to get to the point. And by a little bit, I mean like it might be like 60 days or 90 days.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, dude, at this specific time in this transition, I'm like fucking 23, 24 years old. Like I need money. Here's the difference. Watch this. I would have a few clients paying me on the fee and a rev share, a few clients paying me just a fee, and then like let's use the example I experiment with just this rev share relationship.
Yeah.
Who am I going to pay attention to there?
The one who gave you some money already.
Right.
Yeah.
And to be clear, it's like I can't fairly prioritize the person, even if it's a great deal. I had this guy, he offered me 40% gross. Okay. How great does that sound? You see his reaction right there? Okay. Like he was fucking tweeting. All right, what? 40% gross. I thought to myself the same thing you did. I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is gonna be the greatest fucking deal ever. Like I'm a Barry Bonds on steroids, this fucking deal, dude. I'm gonna grand slam this shit. And unfortunately, I didn't even fucking log into the account. Why do you think that was?
Because you had people giving you money, and so the incentives. Okay, so
you see? So it's like, okay, now that's an example of being honest with yourself. So when I saw that in my behavior, I didn't really question it. I didn't think like, oh, what am I retarded over here? Like, why am I not logging into a 40% gross relationship?
Yeah.
It's like, well, no. I mean, I had a bunch of other people that were already paying me. And to be clear, it's like I
there's
tell this
pressure with that money you already have. There's no pressure under him.
100%.
Yeah.
I tell new clients this all the time when they say that same thing. They're like, "Oh, why don't you just do a rev share only?" And I tell them, I'm like, "This is an example. Like, look at what I did. I already know I'm gonna be probable to do that again with you.
Yeah.
So I have to have you pay a certain amount up front so I can ensure that I can prioritize the relationship right off the bat. Because like at the end of the day, yeah, I do want to get paid a fat amount off rev share. And when you are paying me off rev share, I'm happy to stop charging the fee and just do rev share, to be clear. But it's like literally just from a prioritization perspective, I've just been honest with myself about that. It doesn't work otherwise.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's difficult to move just to pleasure, right? You need pain, right?
Yeah.
So like there's when someone gives you money, there's pressure behind that to perform, but there's
100%.
no pressure with it's just all upside.
I think this is another incentive. Okay, when a client does pay a certain amount up front, they have an incentive as well to like do the shit that they need to do because they gotta pay you again in 30 days or they gotta fire you and give up. So it becomes a waste of time on their end, and in addition to that, it becomes like a loss.
The money brings pressure on both sides.
Yeah, 100%. So it's like I need you to film ads.
Yeah.
I need you to like give me logins and shit. It's like, well, you got no pressure to do it if you don't pay me anything.
Yeah.
And your ad spend doesn't start until you give me all this shit. So like, well, you got a bunch of other stuff you're doing to make money anyway. Why would you all of a sudden pay attention to this?
Yeah.
You're gonna pay attention to it because you paid money to do it.
Yeah, makes sense.
You see, I'll give you another example. I had a guy, you know him as well, Gabe. Okay, shout out to Gabe.
Oh, yeah.
He grew Danlock's YouTube. Oh, he helped grow Danlock's YouTube channel to over 4 million subscribers. Okay.
Yeah.
He's one of my inner circle students. He was willing to help me at no cost grow my YouTube channel and like help me with like videos and like stuff like that. Dude, when Gabe was helping me, I didn't do anything because I would pay him. You see, versus now I pay a YouTube guy, pay him $3K a month.
Yeah.
I've been consistently making 2 videos a week, every fucking week, because I have a reason to, because I'm paying the guy.
You guys should check out Jeremy's YouTube. He's not here to sell y'all anything today, man. We're just talking. But check out his YouTube, man. And it's not gonna be for most of y'all because he only talks about getting to $1 million a month. I be watching it, man. You know
you should. You're the ideal demographic. All right. Moral of the story is I just got really honest with incentives and like the power of them, and I just looked at what was driving my behavior, you know, and I looked at what was driving the client's behavior. And I'm really like upfront about this dynamic on sales calls with potential clients. I straight up tell them, I'm like, we do it this way because of this. We do it this way because of this. Like, this is why we have to charge this, you know? And like, we just go over it all and we just use words like fair. And at the end of the day, like, that's what it is, dude. It's a fair fucking deal for everybody. Like nobody's going into it with like one side has the advantage over the other. Like, that's not how I look at it at all. You know, it's you're getting a marketing partner out of the relationship that like actually gives a fuck for like probably the first time in your business about the amount of money you're actually gonna, and by the way, I don't get paid off gross. I get paid off the net amount that's trackable back to our actions.
Yeah.
So not only do I give a fuck about the amount of money they make, I give a fuck about the amount that they net. You see? Proper incentive. Okay, going to 2018. Okay, I do these things called video pitches. I do them perfect cold video pitches. So I pitch a guy, okay? He asked me right away. He goes, how much are all your other clients paying you? Like, what's the most anybody else is paying you? And I was like, anywhere from like 5, 10K a month, you know? And this is one of my first big rev share deals. And he goes, okay, I'm gonna pay you 25K a month, and I'm gonna be your top priority. And like right away, I was like, dude, that's fucking sick. You know,
I did that with Amber.
Really?
Yeah.
Smart play.
I realized how valuable she was, and I said, listen, I want to give you more incentive because I want to be a number one priority.
Just ask her, be like, what's everybody else paying you? Like, I want to pay you a little more. So right away. Exactly what he says is true. Like, he becomes my top priority, okay? And I get a rev share with this guy. And to be clear, like, I take him from a couple $100,000 a month to over $2 million a month in 8 months.
I know exactly.
I was ripping like 200 G's a month off this deal at a certain point, okay? It's like the validation, you know? And then to be clear, like, this dynamic becomes really awesome. Like, you talk about pressure. Imagine having one deal that pays you that much.
Yeah, you fucking put all your eggs in one basket. You protect that basket.
Well, no. It drives you to get more, so you hedge
more deals
against one fucking deal paying you all that money.
About it wrong.
Because, like, God forbid you lose that deal.
Yeah.
It's like, what happens then?
Okay.
You're fucked. You get rugged.
That
you
was
rug
smarter
yourself.
than what I
you
said.
See? You remember what I just showed you about Jeremy?
Yeah.
And his fucking $136K a month. So that's sick, right? But like, what do you think he feels right now?
Pressure.
He's like, I gotta go get some more fucking deals that pay me $100K a month. I gotta start to hedge. Without exaggeration, probably the best fucking game I've ever committed to in like my make money part of my life. Okay. Like, I immediately after getting paid that amount of money am so fucking financially motivated to make so much more money.
Yeah.
Because I had to, based on this perspective of like hedging the risk of only getting paid off that one deal. It's easy to be fair after you start getting some case studies like that to be able to get other deals and other relationships. And like, you know, like I said, I mean, we got all kinds of fucking deals like that. You know how some people say like getting your first million is harder than getting to 10 million? I personally think it's easier to get 100K a month client. I think it's like a challenge to get 10.
I think you're right.
I do think it's hard.
And I think it's harder to get to 10 million than it is to get to 1. Because 1 million, you could just do it by yourself. You could just hustle to 1 million.
See, that's the thing. It's
but
like
10 million, you need a fucking team.
Dude,
staff,
one deal at 100K, it's
Yeah.
like, well, you got all the time in the fucking world.
Yeah.
You know, like you can put it all towards that one deal. And that, believe it or not, is one of the most common things that I see amongst like my highest level fucking students that actually pull this shit off too.
Yeah.
They'll get like one and then they'll immediately like feel oh shit, I got to get more. You know, you really got to look at it. Well, how much time did it take you to get that one in the first place? How many deals did you have to go through to like figure out what that one deal's characteristics look like in other deals you could vet for in the future? Are there anybody else in that niche that you could work with to like make it more probable to get other deals? Is your current client paying you that much going to be fucking livid if you go out and work with other people in their niche and like create competitors for them? So like technically you got to take that same skill set and apply it to a different niche, you know, to de-risk. Or, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, dude, there's all kinds of like highly sophisticated fucking problems that start to come up